at the back, so if you wouldn't mind just shifting. So if you can see me, I can see you. Okay, what is yoga? What is yoga? What is yoga? The word yoga means to connect with the high button. Sorry, your higher self, the best you can be. Who are we? The science of yoga tells us that we are souls living in a physical body. And this is the science. We are souls living in a physical body. We keep forgetting. So, we act like we're animals sometimes because we keep forgetting. We act like we're not good enough sometimes because we keep forgetting who we are. And the science of yoga said, yes, you keep forgetting because the world has become so materialistic today. In the old days, there was a lot of silence and people could reflect, hear themselves think, know what was going on, observe nature, observe mankind, observe animals, and understand truths. Because when you watch these things, you see a lot about truth. Isn't it true? For example, I have a dog now, but other people have told me over many years, I've never had a dog. This is my first time, and I'm learning so much about communication with animals. We talk about it, we say we know it, oh yes, the dog has a soul, but unless you live with the dog and every day clean it and do all those things that are not so pleasant with it, you actually start to fall in love with it. Because you see in it a purity, and then you start to understand about what dogs are all about. So like life, the first thing we need to have to learn about is who we are. And if you don't spend time with who you are, your soul, you are never going to understand your soul. No matter how much you study, no matter how much you read, they're just words. It's like dogs. People used to tell me about dogs. Yes, they're souls. Yes, but when there was a dog, don't come too close. Now I feel my dog. And this morning I go, I have to leave her all day. I laughed at myself. Found it so funny. I would never say that 6 months ago, And it's when you experience something, you know it for yourself. Now the whole Yoga Sutras of Sri Patanjali, which is a science that was written 4,000 years ago or more, nobody really knows, tells us on how we can get back to this understanding of who we are. What's happened? You see, it was already happening then. And it continues to happen today. Lord Jesus says, right, do not sell your soul. Do not sell your soul. For what does it benefit a man to gain the whole world at the cost of your soul? And of course, at death, you can see that so clearly. And we see people die and suddenly, I better live a better life because this person has died. You remember for 1-2 weeks and then you go back to misery. But at death, we see it so clearly for any of us who face death suddenly. And I think many in this room have. We've faced the pain of separation. But yet you look and you see, they didn't take anything with them. Nothing. Not one thing could they take with them. Then you have to ask yourself the question, what can I leave here on earth that can make a difference? Why am I here? And this is the yoga science. So the yoga science book, as we've covered it over the last few weeks, I'll just give it to you in a nutshell. It starts off with saying, now the exposition of yoga is being made. In other words, the book is telling you, I'm giving you this information. Whether you want it or you don't want it, up to you. But I'm telling you what it's all about. And then the second sutra goes to Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. And that means the restraints of the modification of the mind stuff is yoga. And what happens when you experience yoga? It tells you the seer abides in its own true nature. Now this all sounds like a lot of very fancy words. But here, Sri Patanjali, as a scientist, is basically telling us what it is we need to do to experience our soul, the nature of our soul, the who we really are. Then the seer abides in its own true nature. how can we see our soul? And he tells us the instrument that's blocking the way to the soul is the mind. It is also the connection, when used well, when the mind is used well, that can see the soul. And he's saying when you restrain the mind, keep the thoughts back, you're going to get angry. Don't wait, restrain. Take a deep breath, come to Dad. You're going to blame yourself for everything that's gone wrong. I'm no good, I'm no good. Stop, restrain, keep the thoughts back. And what happens? What happens? You take a deep breath and there is a bit of peace. That moment that you restrain the anger, that you restrain the pain, there is a tool to put it back. So, and what do you feel? Peace. So here Sri Patanjali tells you, just by doing that, you know what your real nature is. Peace. Our master used to say, make peace your God. Don't even allow God to disturb your peace. And when he first said that, I went, oops, what was that? Because my vision of God at that time, many years ago, was this man in a beard. But after that, I soon realized it was much, 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 much more. It's everything, right? And this takes time. So when you start to restrain your mind, and you start to experience peace, you start to say, wow, this feels right. This feels right. This feels like where I belong. Because when I'm in this, everything fits in my body. Everything works. But when I'm not in this, there's something that's disconnected. I don't feel happy. I don't feel whole. I don't love. I don't live. I'm miserable. And again, our master told us, which is why I fell in love with this beautiful master, he said, how dare you say your life should be misery? You were born, your birthright is to be happy. Your birthright. And of course, as parents, many of us, how many of us parents in this room? How many parents, right? Don't you like to see your children happy? And if your children are miserable all day long, how does that make you feel? I failed as a parent, right? I failed as a parent. Why can't my children be happy? I worked hard. I looked after them when they were ill. I did everything for them. Why aren't they happy? And you're telling them, I have a way to make you happy. And this voice is telling us, our soul is telling, there's a way to be happy. But we're too stuck in the mind, you see. We're too stuck in thought patterns that we think we have to think this way and we have to be this way. We have to act this way in order to be accepted in life. But we're much more than that. We're soul. And the great saints tell us, all of them tell us, it's a mystical feeling that makes you feel so high, better than any drug you can have. So how, if it's supposed to make you feel high, can a spiritual being go around saying, this is wrong, this is bad, you have to meditate 10 hours a day, you won't be happy. It doesn't make sense to me. Something is warped about what we're taught. Something is not true. Because if that was true, why would every single person I know be looking for peace and happiness? Why? If we weren't, and we haven't tasted it somewhere in one of our lifetimes, why would we be looking for it? Why would you want to eat a mango if you've never tasted how delicious it was? Would you ask for one? You wouldn't. You'd only want it because you've tasted it. Oh, I want a mango. But to a stranger, I don't like mango, they won't be looking for it. But happiness is something every single person I know wants. So we must have somewhere before we came to our human existence experienced it. We want to go back to it. So Sri Patanjali tells us very clearly, when the mind is still, and the Psalms tells us this as well, be still and know that I am God. All traditions, mystical, teach us that God is within us. You cannot find it outside. And still, God, why are you doing this to me? This. Still we see all these beautiful words. God is everywhere. We read them. Oh, so romantic in a book. You live it? Do you live it? Oh, it's supposed to be here and here and here and here. Everywhere except here. So the yogi's job, the scientist, is, okay, we've looked outside in the world for happiness and joy. We tried it. We've tried so many things. And guess what? We get beaten up. We beat ourselves up. We have all this nonsense, and we still haven't found it. So let us go. Turn the intention in. You want to know who you are? Really are? The one that never dies? Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and forever shall be. A Catholic prayer. World without end. Energy doesn't die. Isn't that interesting? When I saw my husband's body, when he passed away, the most painful time for me, the worst time I've ever experienced in my life, I also saw he was no longer there. He was no longer there. So where did he go? He just moved out of this home and went into another home. Because energy never dies. The hope it gave me, seeing that the energy was coming out and moving along, meant that he has another adventure to go to. How nice for him. Am I going to hold him back because I want him to stay in this adventure? His soul wants to fly. I don't know where the gods will bring him. All I know is I wish him light and joy and dancing with the angels. We can't pull them down by our tears. Yes, of course you're going to feel sad in the beginning. But nothing was ours anyway, all on loan. Everything to us is on loan, isn't it? Especially this body is borrowed. We didn't even design it, somebody designed it for us. I keep laughing at this. I said, my name I didn't even choose. My mother chose one name, my aunt gave me another name, I didn't even choose my name, so who am I? Am I Nalanie? No, I'm not Nalanie. I'm Nalanie while I'm in this body. The name wasn't chosen by me, so who am I? I have a personality human personality that's called Nalanie. You have a human personality that's called Bonnie, and each one is different. Each one is different. Isn't that great? Now, instead of saying, wow, what an interesting world we've been put in, where everybody is different. And how much fun to learn about everybody. How much fun to see the best in everybody. Instead, criticizing, jealousy, lust, stealing, all the horrendous things that couldn't take us further from who we really are, loving beings. All those things take us so far from God. All those things take us so far. And yet we keep doing it. And we know when we do, we don't like ourselves. We don't feel good about ourselves. We're not proud of ourselves. So all I tell people is, okay, if you're not proud of it, simple, change it. And Sri Patanjali says, change it. All you have to do is look at yourself, see what kind of thoughts are coming through your mind. So learn when your mind tells you, oh, this, complain. No, keep them apart. Take a deep breath. Wow, I'm in peace. So I'm going to radiate peace. Angry thought comes. No. I am peace. I'm going to radiate peace. What else can I do in this life that's going to make any difference? What else can you do that makes any difference? You can make millions. And like I was saying last night, to leave behind for children to fight over and families to separate, what's the point? You can have the most beautiful homes to leave behind for people to fight over. What's the point? Yes, have all those things, but no, the point of it is to share it, to enjoy it, to love it, and to give thanks, because our birthright is to be happy. And if you don't have it, enjoy those that do. Be happy for them. Because when your mind is happy, your soul will be happy. Why? It is your your nature. So if you just think, common sense. It's really common sense, which no longer is common sense. When we're happy and when we're at peace, everything works. Even if it's not working, even if everything is going wrong in your life and you are peaceful, what happens? You make your world a heaven. Many times around me, I get people panicking. Panic attack, this, I'm like this. And this is the non-attachment Sri Patanjali will tell us about later. Okay, I'm peaceful. You're agitated. I'm not going to let your agitation come to me because I'm not going to be able to help you. The best thing I can do is step out of myself, compassion towards your pain, and tell you, hey, look, you can be peaceful in an agitated situation. It's possible. It is possible. And this is the science. You don't have to suffer unnecessarily. There is enough suffering in this world without us adding more. So this great scientist tells us, well, we're not in that awareness of who we really are. Then we think we are what our mind tells us we are. For example, you get up and you go, you drop something. Oh, I'm going to have a bad day. Oh, I dropped something and today's, started the day wrong. I'm going to have a bad day. What have you just said?
Have a bad day.
Have a bad day. And all day long, as you think, it becomes. Then you say, I don't know why God picked on me. He said, God never did. You picked on yourself. There's no God. Do you think this whole huge universe is going to be one person? You're so important that God is going to come and say, oh, you're going to do this. And I mean, come on. This is a really ridiculous viewpoint, you know? There is just, this God is just like the sun that always shines. Always shines. Whether you want it or not is up to you. If you're in the dark, draw the curtains open and you'll receive the sun. It's going to love you anyway. Even if you say, sun, go away, if you draw those curtains, it's there whether you want it or not. But if you close those curtains, why you do it to me? Why? Come on, my friend, just draw the curtains open. Do you see? There's nobody to blame. And you know the freedom this gives you. The freedom this gives you, because you don't become a victim of, for me, God is love, you know. We're not victims. We can join in that love. Yes, life is full of suffering, but this is the adventure. Who doesn't suffer? Do you know anybody? I don't know one person that doesn't suffer. This is the adventure. This is the surfing my master talks about. You surf the big waves. You surf them. Learn how to surf and then you'll like yourself. I'm going through a very difficult time. I accept that I'm going through a very difficult time, but I am going to surf. I'm not going to drown. That's the science.
Or swim against.
A swim against is even better. Swim against the tide. You know? And then when you win the race, you what do you feel? Proud of yourself, right? But if you sink, you're not happy with who you are because you know you've become a cop-out to your soul. You know. You know. Then you go, I'm not happy, I'm not. Because you're too fearful. I haven't become what I was born to be. And like Lord Jesus says, do not hide your light under a bushel. Do not hide your light under a bushel. Do not hide who you are. Be brave. If you have a talent, share it. Shyness is not goodness. Weakness is not goodness. And I keep telling people, oh, I can't do this, and I can't do that, and I can't do this. I said, that's not goodness. Have you met any spiritual master in your life that has gone, oh, I can't do this, I can't do this? Have you? Ever? Ever? And aren't they the ones that we respect? Why do we respect them? Because that's who we are inside. We just haven't had the courage to become who we really are. And this is why I love the science. It tells us it's the map to find ourselves. So he says, then we think who we really are. So if you're a rich person today and tomorrow you lose everything in the stock market, you don't know who you are anymore because you're never in touch with your soul, bang, take your life. Correct? How many those cases we've seen? When you lose ground, bang, you take your life. So, and here Sri Patanjali says, watch out for this. And then in the next sutra, he tells us, let's make it really, really, really simple for all of you. I'm going to make it really simple. I'm going to break your thought patterns into 2 types. Your mind will have painful thoughts or painless. Will you all remember it? Come on, students who took the course last week. Painful or painless. And our master redefined it and translated to? Good, louder. Selfish or selfless. Okay, so we have 2 types of thoughts in our mind. Wow, this is really interesting. Painful is associated with selfish. Painless is associated with selfless. Now, I would like you to watch your minds. Whenever your mind is, I really want this and I can't have it, I really want this and why don't I have this and why this person has this, I want I. Are you ever happy?
Nope.
Are you ever happy? Why are people depressed? I am depressed. Life is bad to me. So we need to give people the knowledge how to see that it's the I, the selfishness all day long that is causing them to be depressed, nothing else. Our master used to say, look at the word ill, illness. You have the I, apostrophe. He said put I, apostrophe, 2 L's, and you get illness. Wellness, W-E, we, L-L, and it's wellness. Because when we work in a we, because we keep saying, all spiritual books say we are one. Correct or incorrect? We are one. I say, oh no, I'm a Hindu, you're a Catholic, you're this, separations. None of them said that. You know what the word Catholic means? Universal, accepting of all. Lord Jesus did. He accepted the Gentiles, the Samaritans, the taxpayers, the prostitutes, for which he was crucified for. Because he was so universal. So universal. And then we make his greatness so small by making prejudice and biased. Oh, what an insult to Lord Jesus. What an insult to the divine energy. So big, loved all. And he said, you would know me they will know you as my disciple when you love one another as I loved you. Any of you read the New Testament?
Yes.
Yeah, when you love one another as I loved you. No pride in him. Such a great soul. What did he do with his disciples' feet? He washed them. What did he say to his disciples? You are my brothers. In other words, we're all part of Lord Jesus. We're all brothers and sisters. And what happens? Separation, greed. So Sri Patanjali tells us, watch it. If you watch your mind very, very carefully, you can see selfless thoughts lead you to a joyful place. In the beginning, it might be hard. For example, let me give you a simple example. Your child is very sick. You stay up all night. It's not easy, is it? It's not easy. They have fever, they got this, you're exhausted, but you're selfless. And you look after your child. And next day, you feel happy. You've done a good job as a mother or father. Yes, it's not been pleasant, it's been painful, it's been hard. But still you can't help yourself being selfless as a parent. You get a parent whose child is sick, and maybe they're on drugs or something or whatever. They don't look after the child. The child gets sicker. that parent bears the guilt, thinking, I'm not a good parent, I'm not a good parent, I'm not a good parent. Takes more drugs, drowns it more. Child cries, let's take a cigarette, burn the child to shut the child up because I can't deal with myself. How many times have we seen that? Selfish. Do you see the difference? Selfish brings pain. And selfless brings a peace that stays with you. When you do a good deed for someone, how do you feel? Recently I got a phone call from somebody from abroad, and an intelligent mind, so intelligent, got into, life is wise, God done this to me, da da da, and I said, wake up! A family member has just lost a child. This person has only experiences, and all you can think about you, enough. That's the cause of your misery. I really had to be quite rough and close the phone. Anyway, I spoke to this person yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? I'm not sure. And he said, oh, Nalanie, I took your advice. I stopped thinking about I, me, and mine. And I'm feeling much better today. I forced myself, because I said, go take a shower, get out of that bed, and do something good for your parents. For heaven's sake, do something good. It's not all about you. So he went and he bought his mom some flowers. He spoke to his dad and thanked him, and I said, how did you feel? He said, so much better. So much better. Then he said he was following this course online, because apparently Shanti puts it online. And he said, I've been following the course and I'm much better today. I said, see, it's all mind stuff. And Sri Patanjali points it so clearly. When you're into, oh, poor me, why did I do this? Stop the nonsense. Change it. We have that ability. Isn't that magical? When I found out, when I, first came here complaining, live, I was like that, complaining. And when I read this, I go, I can't change the world. Can any of you change anybody around you? Never. Never. And we think we can. We think we want to change it. Just change ourselves. I just have to change it myself. How easy is that? At least I know me, but I have to get to know me. I didn't know myself. And that comes to self-discovery. And that's when I discovered, really very simple. Every time Nalanie wasn't I want, I need, I have to have, I was discontent. And every time I would like to do a good deed, or even to myself a good deed, I was content. I used to think I don't deserve this, what a lot of rubbish. I'm also a child of God, I deserve all the good in the world. Do you see? I made it so clear. I deserve the best, and so did the world. We all deserve the best in that equation. So selfless was really deserving the best all round. But selfish is when you just, I, me, mine. So when you meet people who are depressed in their life, try to shine a light on them by saying, distract yourself. Do something outside of yourself. Do something kind for someone. Go out there. Just, get out of yourself. You're too into yourself. And once you do that, when they start to do good deeds, they start to feel a flow of energy rising in their body. They do. They start to feel, again, useful. Our master said, you need 3 things in life. You need to be easeful body. You need to be peaceful. And you need to feel useful. And when you're into I, me, and mine, do you feel useful to the world? No. Are you useful to your family? No. So how can you be happy? How can you be happy? You can't. So keep those 3 things in your mind. Remember always. Ask yourself, am I easeful? Am I peaceful? And is my life useful? If your life is not useful, try and discover something that makes you useful. There's obviously a talent in each and every single soul, as I've seen in my life, that they have, that you're frightened to use. They hide this light. Rediscover the gifts that you've been given and ask yourself, how can you use those gifts to make it a better world? Better workplace, better home, more peace at home, and discover that in you. You go and do work with yourself, because you remember, you're not going outward now, you're going inward. Stop focusing on your negative qualities and start focusing on your positive ones. And then work on them. Say, okay, this is my job now. I'm going to work on what I'm good at. I'm not going to focus on what I'm not good at. If I'm lazy, I'm going to focus on what makes me not lazy. Somebody will say, oh, I love painting and I never do it. Then paint. Enroll in a class. Just do it. You won't want to, because you always resist that which is good for you. It's the way of the world. It's the mind stuff. Don't worry about it. You're stronger than your mind. You say, I'm doing it. I've been saying it for years. I'm going to enroll. And you just do it. And if you meet a friend that has the same love for art, hey, I'm going. Would you like to come with me? Who knows? You inspire five or six people to go with you. And then your mind is already in a different place. Always create. The mind is given to us to create beauty in this world. We use it for destruction. That's the mistake. So create beautiful things wherever you go in your mind. Keep that mind healthy. Keep it full of creativity. I love creativity. Don't you love culture and music and song and dance? And everybody loves music. We all have CDs in our car, right? In our cars and at home. Everybody, why? Because music does something for our souls. What is that song? Thank you for the music, the songs I'm singing.
Thank you for all the joy you're bringing.
See, we should be joyful. Children know how to sing and dance and skip and hop until the parents go, stop it. Yes, in public, you have to teach them manners. But at home, let them enjoy a little. You have to have class at 6, class at 7, class at 8, class at 9. Where's the time for them to be? Oh, it's every day, lessons. Where's the time for them to be creative? Where's the time for them to think for themselves? Use their hands, play, run in the grass. We're so ambitious for our children, and we do the same to ourselves. We're so ambitious for ourselves that we don't know us anymore. What is the greatest ambition you can have? Happiness. And your soul. Save your soul. You can't save anybody else's. And this is spiritual work, just saving your own soul, not judging anybody, and not thinking, I have to change this one, or this one's done this one's done that. Because as you think,
You become.
so if you're judging all day, you become just a nasty, nasty human being. Because you're always judging. Hey, do you know this one and this one and this one? Look at the face when they talk. Have you noticed? Isn't that the expression? No lo sabe. Is it true or not? And you're not even happy. Your expression changes. It's distorted, right? The mouth is distorted. The face is. There's no peace in the face. But if you go within, be still and know God. There's a peace, there's a flow, there's an energy, and as Saint Francis said, Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is darkness, let me bring the light. Shanti, I need you to sing that song. You know the words really well. Come here. I can give her the mic. And anybody knows the words? Please sing it.
Okay. Make me a channel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring your love. Where there is injury, your pardon, Lord. And where there's no true faith in you, make me a channel of your peace. Where there's despair in life, let me bring hope. Where there is darkness, only light. And where there's sadness, ever joy. Oh, Master, grant that I may never see so So much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned, in giving to all men that we receive, and in dying that we're born to eternal life.
That's the way you should say it. Yes. Good girl. No.
I took her advice. She took me last week. Good advice, thank you.
And so good. And you communicate when you do, when you're yourself. When you try to be. It's a story you'll know about Shanti, you know. And one day we'll tell that story because it's a beautiful story and she's such an example to so many people. So just in that prayer alone, do you see selfish, selfless, painful, painless? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Where there is darkness, pain, what should you do? Bring light. Where there is sorrow, what should you do? Bring joy. Can you see it? Just in that prayer is the whole Yoga Sutras of Sri Patanjali. Really, if we could just sing that prayer every day and mean it. And mean it and practice it. You see, this is the difference. It's no point knowing all these great truths if you don't go home and practice it. Where do you practice it? In your home. Where will you get the most problems? In your home. That's why you have to practice it. Because if you can do it at home, you can do it anywhere. Isn't it true? The hardest place is at home. So, and you just keep doing that. Time after time, and of course life will, you go home with joy and somebody will come and you keep your joy. You have to practice keeping your joy. You know? And then you say, oh, have compassion for them. They only scream at me because, you know what, they're miserable. But don't, because they're miserable, you become miserable too. That's a bit ridiculous. How can you help anybody when there's two miserable people in the home? Then the children become miserable and the whole house becomes hell on earth. Who's created it? Who's created it? Did God do and say, be miserable? My poor God, the amount of blames he or she gets is quite sad. You know? God, I love you so much. That's all I say every day now. If anything I do wrong, I know it's by my own words, deeds. I have the tools. Use them practically on this earth. Don't spread misery. There's enough, don't you see? Have you seen what we've done to creation? Have you seen? We've done it. Greed, misery, everything. Every person that's miserable will put those vibrations out. Why? Because we have vibrations. And you all know that. And in Gibraltar, many, many people have very strong psychic energies. You know, do you know that? Yep. You are born very talented people. I used to have a dance school here called Eastern Promise. I never met so many good dancers in my life. You have a gift. The gift has to be used in the right way. Used wrongly, you burn you and everybody else along with you. The problem is, there is a space problem here, right? Because everybody's so congested, which is normal. Any congested place, the minds start to focus on small things. So with your beautiful minds, create. Dance, sing, whatever, write poetry, be great at IT, whatever you want. Be great as a manager, run a brilliant restaurant, whatever you want. Put God there. And where is God? Where there is darkness, give light. So make your restaurant the best, great service, and everybody comes in. Give them joy. What do you want? Okay, you ready? Do you know what I mean? Welcome to my restaurant. I mean, this morning we came in and we stopped at a cafe just around the corner, Ocean Village. There's a new one before you cross the street to come to Main Street. Go in. The first thing you walk in, this lady smiles, big smile. Good morning. Nice to see you. And I said, her coffee shop was packed. And I was saying, wow, if everybody could be like that, business would be good everywhere. Because she's promoting, you want to walk in with that joy. I don't know why restaurant owners don't get it. And with a coffee, give a little biscuit. Learn to give. Learn to give. Every penny now people count. No more generosity in anything we do. I know. I was talking about this anyway. Today's subject was non-greed, and I haven't even gotten there. And don't you remember when you were young? I know when I used to travel with Dad at 9 years old, and we travel all over the world. You just go to Asia, you get on the plane, right? You're so well looked after, isn't it true? Nice hot meals. They make sure everything is so well presented. And now you get this cold baguette that is so bad for you. Do you know?
You have to pay for everything.
And the funny thing, and you have to pay for everything. And on top of that, all these airlines are going out of business.
Yeah.
All of them are going out of business. They got problems with all this kind of stuff, with their accounts. And in the old days, they were all making big business. You see, energy begets energy. Whatever you put in, you will get out. We will get out. We've created wars in this world by our negative thoughts and greed. That's what's happened. Weather systems. I was speaking to my brother in Bangkok the other day. You know, Bangkok's a hot city. It doesn't get cold. He said, you know, sis, it's 16 degrees in Bangkok. So what? Never heard of. Normally it's the coldest it gets in winter's 22, 23. You know, that's the coldest it gets. I said, yeah, our world is really becoming quite hard because we're not looking after Mother Nature. So selfish, selfless, do you see? Ask, as Kennedy said, not what your world should do for you, ask what you can do for your country or your world. How can you promote it? For me, the easiest way is joyfuls, give love. Because the more joy, the more, the more you put this kind of energy into the work, the more people will receive it. Just memorize St. Francis's prayer. So there it tells us about selfish or selfless. Are you clear? So next time you're miserable and depressed, will you ask yourself, where am I in my mind? Will you just sit down, stop, and ask myself, where am I in my mind? Is it all about my views, my this, my that? This is the way I feel, therefore everybody has to feel like me. Is it that? Or am I generous in my mind? You see, these are my views, but let me listen to your view. Let me also hear what you got to say. After all, we're all individuals. We're all different. Maybe I can learn something that I didn't know from you. Maybe you can teach me something I never understood before. And that's how you look at life, with this adventure, with this interest, with this inspiration. And nothing is boring. Everything is so interesting. Everything is divine. Everybody is divine. Everybody is sent to you for a reason. Those who hurt you, if you notice in your life, are the ones that make you make you stronger. Yes.
Yeah, it's true.
Notice in your life, you get bashed. You want to get strong. You look for a reason. What is life all about? All I did is love, and all this hurting me. But then you question. It's the people that cause you the most pain that will take you to the divine light. It is true. It's because of all these wars and anger that I ask. There must be some truth beyond this. I don't believe there is a God that punishes and does this and does that, and picks. You're going to be happy and you're going to be evil. Whatever it is. And I don't believe it. There has to be something greater. And there is, now I know. And but it's your miserable times that will take you to that questioning. So if you've gone through really bad times and people have really hurt you, thank them for it. Bless them because they drove you to ask the question, why? What for? Why existing on earth? What is life all about? Thank God for them that make you suffer. You awaken to who you really are. So there Sri Patanjali tells us that. Then he tells us that now that I made it really simple for you and showed you there are two kinds of thought patterns in your mind, I'm going to tell you, subdivide them again and tell you there are 5 different thought patterns. They're called vrittis. Vrittis means mind stuff. Thoughts. Can you all say it? Vrittis. Vrittis, you know, and I love the word because it really sounds like worms, yeah? And thoughts are worms. Haven't you noticed when you have so many thoughts you can't sleep? Go, isn't it true? I used to do that. And now I just... And when I get up in the middle of the night, I just hear Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Sit up, meditate, it's 2 o'clock, time to sleep again. 4 o'clock I wake up, Om Namah Shivaya. And then the mind is very quiet. Om Namah Shivaya is just a mantra chant that keeps the mind steady, just keeps steady. But after you practice it for 25 years, it becomes part of you. And that's what Sri Patanjali tells us in the next few sutras. It tells us that different types of thought patterns, you know, there's a way to learn right knowledge. How do you know what is right or not right? One way is by experiencing it for yourself. Experience it. Another way is you infer that when the phone rings, somebody's got their phone on.
Not getting information.
So this is inference, right? You can infer something. So, and sometimes inference for me was very important. I thank all the depressed people who came to my life because they taught me so much that I said, I never want to be depressed in my life. So I thank them so much. They've really given me knowledge. So you can infer that when you're depressed, you suffer. When you're joyful, you're in peace. Easy. So don't make the mistake of getting depressed. And when you are getting there, because you're human, lift yourself. You're human. It's a human condition. Lift yourself by yourself. Don't expect anybody to do it for you. They can advise you, they can give you a bit of nice advice, but then the work is yours. Because the moment you give your power away to someone, you can't get it for yourself. Build up your soul energy. Know you can do it for yourself. Everyone can. That's the gift we are given. That's the God in us. That's the soul power, thought power, soul power. Master Shivananda talks about soul power. Use your soul power to regulate your thought power. You regulate it. What you don't like, delete. What you like, put in the folder. And that's all. You can regulate it. The soul can regulate it. You all know you can watch your minds. All of you know that, right? Oh, Nalanie, I'm so miserable. If you can watch your soul miserable, change the mind and make it happy. What do? Sri Patanjali gives us a list of things on what to do. So he tells us, okay, now this is, and also he says, right knowledge is also in scriptural knowledge. If you look at all scriptures, the basis is love one another. And if I have all the different traditions on these walls, in these little altars, they all talk about God is light. You know, Buddha is the radiance of light. Lord Jesus, I am the light of the world. He who follows me will not walk in darkness, but will walk in light. In the Hindu scriptures, I am the Lord of love and light. Everywhere you hear it described as, and where am I? In you. Where am I? In you. And I always love this because, my master was really so clever. And he said this. He said, when Moses went to Mount Sinai and asked, who are you? Who are you? And God answered, I am that I am. And our master used to say to us, when you introduce yourself, I am Nalanie. So Nalanie belongs to whom? I am. Find the I, and you will find your peace. So, and this is what Sri Patanjali tells us as well. And so after right knowledge, he says, a lot of thought patterns that go on our mind is, another thought pattern is misconception. Many times we misconceive things. somebody tells us a rumor and we get upset, oh, this person, and then you go there and it wasn't true. It wasn't true. I always give this simple example. Many years ago, I was working at a clinic, and I just finished a long meditation in the morning. So I was a bit more serious than normal because I was in such a quiet place. I walk into the clinic, and instead of the usual good morning, but I was happy, right? Anyway, finished working in the clinic. I walk down Main Street. This person comes to me. Nalanie, are you all right? Yeah, of course I'm all right. Oh, I heard you were so depressed this morning. I said, who on earth told you that? I'm not depressed at all. I'm very happy. And I go, why would they say that? And then I remember, of course, this morning I had such a nice meditation. I was so quiet. I didn't feel like talking. I just wanted to stay in my silence. And they mistook it for depression. And look, misconception, So lots of things we misconceive, they're not truthful. Watch out for these kind of thoughts in your mind. Watch out. Because you can put yourself in trouble when it's not based on truth. The next one he says to watch out for is verbal delusion. And everybody knows verbal delusion because advertising, right? Buy this and it'll give you joy. So you run out there and buy this cream. And you put it on for 2 days, and I'm getting younger, and after 6 months I spent a fortune, I'm still no different, The best kind of makeup, Almasi, you say? Breathe. Bring oxygen to your body and you'll stay young. Breathe. Happiness, a happy face will shine and keep you young. Long faces. All the wrinkles. So simple. Yeah, so smile, And so that's the other thing, verbal delusion. So we believe everything we hear. And then we get ourselves in so many traps. If you don't have a Rolex, you can't be happy. If you don't have Prada bag, or you don't have a Celine bag, or you don't have this, you cannot be happy. Isn't it true? And so many people get home agitated. And my friend bought this designer bag, and I need one. The poor man is okay. Oh, the poor woman's working so hard, so many hours to get a bag, only to strangle. Oh, more money, can't pay the mortgage. Stressed out, need a holiday. Go on holiday. Argue all the time about money. Come back. Oh my God, the vicious circle has begun, and all because of verbal delusion. And we thought we needed it and didn't make us happy. And if you want it, have it. If you have the money and there's no problem, you want it, have it. Great. Everybody should have a designer bag if you want, if you can afford it. The problem starts is when you can't and you compete. Be happy with what you have. It's verbal delusion. It's only a handbag. You're selling your joy for a handbag or a pair of shoes, eeks, or for a computer or for a gadget, You're selling your joy for a gadget. Wow, you sell yourself cheap. You sell yourself very cheap. Not worth it. And so we go into, next he says, even when we're sleeping, we have thought patterns, right? All of you know dreams. All of us have dreams, some don't dream. Who said they don't dream to me? Doesn't matter, you're lucky. No, mind stuff. So, many times we dream something and we think it to be real. And he tells us, watch out for these thought patterns as well. And then he tells us, memory is another thought pattern. Well, when I started this work in counseling and spiritual counseling, I realized something very, very truthful, that 99% of the people I was working with were living in the past. We're living in the past. They were miserable because something happened a year ago, or 6 months ago, or 8 months ago, or 5 years ago, or 20 years ago, or 22 years ago, and more, 30 years ago. Yes, and she goes more and more and more. Yeah. And I go, excuse me? We are in 2000, just because we're into 2014, this happened in 1989, and you spent so many years of your life being angry. Oh my God, how many opportunities did you miss out on? It's while you're angry, when opportunities come your way, you cannot see them. You just cannot see them. You miss them. You miss them. You miss the magic. You spent 20 years of your life being unhappy. What a waste of your precious life. That person made you unhappy. They're partying, and they made you, and on top, you made yourself more unhappy by being miserable. I said, you're really dumb. It's true, we're really quite dumb when we look at the psychology about how dumb we are, where's the common sense in them? This is really add insult to injury, but you do it to yourself. Nobody's done it to you. You live in the insult, continuously in the mind, live in it. Oh, they said that. Hello, it's years ago, gone past. Hello, it's finished. It's done. You can never bring it back. Enjoy this moment. Eckhart Tolle, in the book The Power of Now, says we have to train our minds to enjoy this moment. This is all we have. Really, that's all we know. Hey, fortune tellers may tell you what they want, but there's been so many misread fortune tellers that I've heard of in the last 25 years. We can make our lives work. This is the yoga work, and this is the spiritual work on all traditions. You can change it. We can change it. Only for ourselves, by changing the way we think. So finally, that's what Sri Patanjali tells us. Okay, so how do you learn to control all these things in the mind that go tick, 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 tick. Now I know these are the thoughts. What do I have to do? And he says, there's two things you have to do with your life. You have to practice these concepts. You have to practice it. And you also have to learn to be a little non-attached. A step away. Non-attached means stepping away. Don't take everything personally. That's what it means. And he says, the next thing he says, how should you practice? What is practice? What is practice? What do I practice? How do I practice? And he goes, the effort you make towards keeping your mind steady. Can you say the effort I make in keeping my mind steady? That is practice. So you get up in the morning, for example, in simple language. Let's make it really simple. You get up, the mind goes, I don't really want to get up. Then you go, no, today's going to be an adventure. I'm going to have a good day. No matter what happens, you've already practiced just by saying that. The mind, the moment you get up, will bully you. It will tell you what to think. You go, I am not thinking like that. And if it doesn't work, you can use many techniques. You can choose a mantra, which is what I love. Om Namah Shivaya, Hari Om, peace, whatever you want. This too shall pass. Choose one that you really, you really can feel comfortable with. And obviously we don't have too much time. Maybe one of the talks will be just mantras and the importance of it. But there are many teachers here in the Yoga Center in Gibraltar. We have many teachers, and they will all give you the guidance you need. If you want to learn about mantras, if you want to learn about pranayama, breathing techniques, meditation, there are many teachers here, and they will teach you all these techniques to help yourself. So then so the effort you make is practice. So you have to make the effort. I can talk to you and give you these tools. Practice, do this. You go home, you don't do anything about it. There's no point. Don't waste your time. Do something else. Don't confuse your mind more. Just go home and practice there. And you're feeling lethargic? No, I don't like it when I feel so lethargic. What do I have to do? The opposite action. Inspire yourself. I'm already, when I learned the science, I went, I'm already 33 and I haven't lived what I was born to live. Oh my God, how scary, and now I'm already 60. But at least if I die tomorrow, I've lived what I was born to live. And I think we all need to live the way we were born to live. Whatever you're good at, wherever you're good at, I think God uses all of us to bring out the best in us, all of us. And we need to live it. We need to live it. And that's what you do. Inspire yourself in the morning when you get up. Inspire yourself. And if you're not feeling inspirational, turn on some nice music. When was it? The other day I was listening to Westlife singing, "You Raise Me Up." Do you know the song? You raise me up.
The mountains, you raise me up to the stormy seas. You raise me up to more than I can be.
Isn't that beautiful? And they go, "Oh, thank you, Gurudev. Thank you, God, for raising me up constantly." And then you really feel raised. You inspire yourself. Turn on music. There's some beautiful music these days. Thank you, Gigi. There's some beautiful music. There's lots of beautiful things. Inspire yourself. See yourself happy. See yourself progressing. See yourself. Bye, kids. Triplets. And I heard about your generous gesture in India to give the money to the poor children and to have smaller Christmas presents. What wonderful children you are. God bless you. So, and they will raise people up, these kids, Mom, give it to the poor children. We can have a smaller Christmas present. That was so nice to hear in this day and age, isn't it? So refreshing. See, selfless, and it makes you happy already just hearing it. Do you see how normal it is to be selfless? So why are we selfish? I really don't understand. We got such confused thinking. It's nobody's fault. It's just that we're in ignorance and we stay in ignorance. So this is the reason for knowledge. This is the reason for only so that we can live a better life, a more spiritual life. And after all, we are spirit. We're going to leave this body behind. We might as well prepare for the journey. And as you sow, we reap. These are the laws of the universe. It is the law. This is the law of our earth. Everything is cause and effect on this earth. Everything. So next time you're about to do something, think very carefully. Every time you speak a harsh word, think very carefully. And every time somebody's going to speak a harsh word to you, think very carefully. Do you deserve it? No. So you cannot listen to them. Don't let their harshness come into your soul or your body. That's the non-attachment. Don't be attached to what comes from the outside. As soon as you get hit from the outside, turn inwards. The master of our master used to say, bear insult, bear injury, highest sadhana, the hardest practice. Hardest practice because it's very painful. But you're not striking out. And I keep telling people, I know you're angry, but can you put out a fire with fire? You cannot. So you can only put out fire with water. I'm sorry, I know it's painful to keep your mouth shut, but keep it shut. Better for you. Or you're no better than the other person. You're no better than the other person. You just keep this war going on. This is what's happening in our world. My land, your land, my land, your land. Bam, in the end, everybody dies and it still belongs to God. It's nobody's land, isn't it? Does it belong to us? All of these people that are fighting for land, they're all going to die. And we need to stop the tide of things by using our mind in that way. So that is practice. And I'll finish off with this one. We'll do the revision next week again, continue with this one, the next one. And it says, how do you practice before you get good at steadying your mind? because you need to be good at it, so you can become, an artist in it, or and anybody who works with martial arts, the focus applied. Anybody here? You do the focus, right? Till you get really good, and it's like a laser beam, and then all you have to do is one thing like this, and the person will fall. Am I right or wrong? Yeah. That's the focus. That's the practice. And you need to develop this focus with your mind, because the mind, as a yogi says, is a drunken monkey stung by a scorpion and possessed by demons. So Sri Patanjali will tell you that is the stage of our mind. They know the work well. I'm really happy about that. And so, because the more you see it, the more you hear it, the more you hear it. This is practice. Repetition is practice, right? Then the more clarity you get. You can become very clear in your mind. And then when you become very clear, it becomes so easy for you to live a beautiful life. It's no longer hard. It's no longer drudgery. Oh, I have to get up and practice this and this. No. Practice becomes so joyful, so easy. And he tells us you have to do Sri Patanjali in the next sutra. Sutra 14 tells us you have to practice for a
long time, without a break, and with all of your heart.
So who has to practice? I do. We do. Say it. We do. What do you practice? Steadying your mind. Every time it's everywhere, bring it back to peace. Bring it back to joy. And if you can't see a picture of somebody beautiful, see a picture of your master, whoever your master is, and if you don't have a master, if it's nature, go out in the morning and look at sunrise and sunset and see the vastness of it all. Look up at the stars and see the vastness of it all and go, wow. From up there, I'm not even the size of a grain of sand. And I make such a big deal about everything. My God, do I have a huge ego. And that is the cause of my pain. That is the cause. So you practice for a long time, without a break, and with all your heart. So when you get up tomorrow morning, like I said, you inspire yourself. But you have to do this every day. And then the mind will go, it won't want to. Oh, I can have a bad day. Yeah, you can have a bad day. Bruno Mars. Today, what's a lazy day? I don't feel like doing anything. Yeah, that's it. I just want to stay in my bed.
Because you don't stay in
the phone. On the phone. So, you see, that's why I'm so blessed to have grandchildren that teach me all this music. What a joy! They bring music to my house, They're not a nuisance. Granny, have you heard this song? And then, today, and just join you. I'm going to have fun. I want to live life. I want to breathe with my grandchildren. I want to walk on the grass. I don't want to spend my life in misery, because when the time comes, I've lived. I've breathed, I've loved, I've cared, and at the end of the day I can say, goodbye world, goodbye. I did everything I wanted on this earth, and I did it with love, because love keeps us alive, and love keeps us joyous, and it keeps us so joyous, and this is the gift of grandchildren. So anyway, going back, and today you're going to have a lazy day. Lazy day is fine, but don't fall depressed. You're going to have a lazy day. In fact, people today, the problem is they don't have enough days where they just don't do too much. We need that too. Yeah, and don't feel guilty about it. Enjoy it. Really, this is my day. I'm really going to get my blanket, turn on the flyer, turn on my favorite. I'm going to enjoy every minute without any guilt. And then by the end of the day, the next day, I did that on Sunday after the course. The next day, so much energy. I felt great because I had a lazy day. And I told everybody, I'm staying in PJs all day. Nobody come to my doorbell and ring my phone. It's my lazy day. I've worked, and now I need some time. And you see, then you're not giving too much or too little. You're giving what you can. You're being truthful. This is an instrument. It needs rest too. Otherwise, it'll break apart. So you don't feel guilty about anything. You see what I'm saying? So that's how you practice. And when you do it for a long time, it becomes part of you. It just becomes part of you. It becomes part of your nature. It's like teaching children to brush their teeth. Never want to start. But once you teach them every day, they don't even think. We don't even think. Get up, brush your teeth. You don't even think I have to brush my teeth, right? Same with the mind. You don't even have to think I'm angry or not angry. In the beginning, you have to do a lot. I'm miserable or not. You just get up and it's joy. It's just natural. It's just natural. Then you hear some bad news. The first thing you go, how can I bring light to the person? You don't say, poor you, this. How can I bring light? How can I bring light to that person? As St. Francis's prayer said to us so clearly. So are you understanding Sri Patanjali a little bit? And the way our mind works? And these are divine words. And this is the journey inwards to God. Whatever you want to call God is your decision. I'm not here to convert anybody. I know for me what God is. You have to know for you what is your own journey. Please understand, it's your inner journey. You and your best friend. And you don't know who God is. I told somebody the other day, I don't know who God is, but I know there's something inside me. I don't know what to do. I said, well, I believe Sir Francis Bacon called God Beatrice. We talked to Beatrice, who everybody thought was his lover, but it was his name for God. Neil MacDonald Walsh, any of you read his books? Conversations with God, great books. You should read them, great books. And he conversed with the God inside of him. Make God your lover, make God your best friend, but it's within. It's I am. Talk to I am. It doesn't judge. It's neutral. It shows you both sides. Then you do the judging. It just shows you, it just shines the light on it. That's all it does. And gives it the total freedom of choosing the path. But it's given us so many maps. We just need to follow the map inwards, all right? So, thank you all for a lovely evening. It's great to have you. And any questions, anybody, before we finish? Anything you'd like to ask or share or want to say?
Got some announcements, but that's later, right?
No, now, before we finish.
Judy, there?
Judy, you got some announcements. Would you like to make an announcement?
Yes, it's just to let everybody know that the centre is open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 10 till 2. And anyone can come in and do their own meditation practice or have after the classes, come in for coffee.
I'd like to thank Judy, who has been so kind to volunteer to open the center every morning from 10 to 2 and just be here for you. Whether you want to borrow a book or find out a little bit about pranayama or do some private practice, at least she's there and she's so kindly given of her time. I'm deeply grateful. Thank you, Judy. We all are deeply grateful. Very much so. Lakshmi and I are so grateful. As you know, Lakshmi does a lot and you've been great in giving her a hand. So thank you, Judy.
Thank you for the candles.
And she buys us candles. And cleans our tablecloths. Thank you.
Also, apparently Friday morning she can't make the centre, she can't cover the centre. So anybody's free Friday morning who wants to do some karma yoga, there's a slot free morning.
Thank you.
Also, Jasmine's left a note. It has been on the notice board.
Can you stand up? They can't see you or hear you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Problem. Jasmine, she's here, she teaches Thursday morning. She's working with Hogar Betania, which is a home for the homeless in La Linea. Apparently at the moment, there's not a lot of food available. So she's really putting out a request for some help. We've got a list on the board of food they need, like olive oil and milk, butter, things that are useful, So if anybody wants to donate anything, if you could leave it possibly here in the kitchen, there is some already, as you've noticed. would really appreciate it.
And she'll pick it up.
Yeah, she's picking it up.
Can I
Yeah, just
just
sorting it out.
can I just say something about it?
Yes, are you? Yes, you're helping her with that too. Yes, I
Very
believe.
involved, and I just would like to say something about the extent, the number of people that they actually have. At the moment, I think they've got 14 people living in the home, but they also give food to over 730 families, I think it was, this last month. So
Yes,
that
amazing.
and the young woman in charge of this place is an extraordinary person.
Isn't she Begonia?
Begonia, who is working for nothing, she doesn't get paid, neither does the other young man who works at the home. So they're both, doing a really long job, and they're doing a wonderful job of it. But I mean, they need things, and what Jasmine and I thought, and well, Delilah is also involved, is that this could be an ongoing campaign. Because
Absolutely.
they're always going to need food, and they're always going to need more, because there are always more and more people that need help. So if we could have a sort of, if we could get used to bringing stuff until eventually the bank thing is sorted out, and then maybe people can just contribute money. That's also possible, to contribute on a regular basis.
Amber as well is involved. Have you
Sorry, speaking of the bank, I think that there was a food bank that there were.
Can you stand up?
Sorry.
Yeah, Amber's also part of the team.
No, thankfully after we published an article about this just before Christmas, I think it was in the December issue of one of the local magazines, and somebody contacted me at work and said that they were from the food bank from a church up the coast, I think in Marbella, and San Pedro Alcantara, and I'm positive that they were getting in touch with. Maybe there's been a delay and a problem about that, but they were going to actually access
Will you
food
speak
banks.
to Conchita then afterwards and just find out
Because I
where
think they
the...
already circulated this, remember?
There's
Before
something
Christmas.
around, yes, there was something going
I
around,
can't
yes.
remember the name of the
Thank you.
church was, but
I
I'll
think
find out.
find out and contact her, because if that is the case, that would be our answer.
But if it's fallen
Yeah.
through, then obviously they definitely need a lot more support. So I'll find out and email.
So if we can all bring something on a Wednesday,
It's a good idea.
or whatever other days you come in,
yeah,
any
yeah.
day, I come in on Wednesday, I'll bring some stuff. The list of what they need and not what we want to bring is really important.
Yes, it's very handy.
And thank you. What else? Anything else?
I think that's really it.
Okay,
Oh,
thank
one
you.
more thing, sorry, just about, apparently over Christmas we donated
Stand
some-
up, they can't
Yeah,
see you.
Sorry. Over Christmas, the yoga somebody the yoga said they donated some Christmas decorations. And Julia's got money and he really wants to pay the person. We want to know who it was.
40, we owe somebody
It's about
£40.
£40. Do you remember who it was?
I'm not sure.
Who in this room donated £40? We need to owe them. Anyway,
Okay,
nobody.
nobody here. Okay.
Was it you?
No.
Yeah.
I wasn't here.
Okay.
About the groceries that the Hogar Battalion needs. Can we bring anything? Because meat can't come in the yoga center,
No,
like
it's-
tuna and
No, the
ham.
list is here.
On the
List
board,
is
Okay,
there's a list on the
okay,
board when you come in.
okay.
Okay, there's a list
Because
there.
last time we had those things and I had to take it home and then put it back when we took the box.
Okay,
I
no,
can read
the
it if you
list.
want. Want to
Okay,
read
no,
it?
it's okay.
No, a list. Just follow the list.
And I'd like to thank Ellen for covering last week. It was beautiful meditation.
Oh yes, I thanked her.
and
Ellen,
relaxation.
yeah, Ellen, thank you for the lovely deep relaxation and meditation. And may I request that when I travel in March, would you be so kind to teach them all deep relaxation, meditation, and pranayama? Because if they came and every week we could teach them positive affirmations with the breathing, the deep relaxation, feeling the body relax and just getting back to themselves, and then by the time I come back, they will understand the science even better. So is that great? When I go
Yeah.
away, then she can take over. Do you agree? Be
Yes.
fantastic, yeah?
She has a lovely voice, soothing voice.
Very
She-
I know, I heard that.
Yeah.
Lakshmi told me everybody loved it and everybody else told me they loved it. So I think that would be great, and that's really good training. That's the practice to keep the mind still in the body, and many people need to learn techniques for meditation before you can really meditate, all right?